Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome to the Fairy Fountain Podcast. My name is Caden, and I'll be the host of your new favorite weekly Nintendo-focused show. So while I have you here for this introduction episode, I'm going to talk about my goals for the show, why it's called the Fairy Fountain, and my plans. So basically, this is going to be a weekly show where I discuss your favorite things surrounding Nintendo. So sometimes we'll probably talk about leaks and rumors, like what's upcoming. Obviously we have the Nintendo Switch successor. That's been like the big rumor. All of that is probably happening in the near future. It's exciting because I'll be able to cover that with you guys as we enter a new Nintendo console era, because the Nintendo Switch is getting up there in years. And of course we'll cover the individual series and games. So we've got the Legend of Zelda, we'll be covering Tears of the Kingdom, we'll be covering the past games, the future, all sorts of things there, stories, lore. And then we've got Super Mario Brothers, of course. Super Mario Brothers Wonder just came out. Fantastic game. I've got a ton of podcasts planned for that already. Lots to talk about there with that wonderful game. We've got the Super Mario RPG remake coming down the line soon. We'll be discussing that, of course. And I'll be discussing Metroid Prime Remastered, my experience playing the older games for the first time, because I didn't hop on the Metroid train until about a few years ago, but it's a fantastic series. And we'll talk about lots and lots more. Basically, we'll talk about what's big in the news at the time. I'm sure I'll be playing all of the big Nintendo games as they come, and I'll just be giving my personal experience and thoughts about all of the games I'm playing. I want it to be a personal thing, and I want you guys to feel included. And I think it's really exciting because we're going to build up a community here, and we'll have lots to discuss, and I want you guys to be able to chip in too. As for why it's called the Fairy Fountain, if you play The Legend of Zelda, you know that, especially in the games like Ocarina of Time, A Link to the Past, and even Breath of the Wild, there are these places called fairy fountains or great fairy fountains. And while you're out there exploring, you take damage, you're battling monsters, and you need a place to go to heal. And a fairy fountain is one of the few places you can go to relax and literally get healed in the games. You meet the great fairies, and then of course the little fairies that you can put in a bottle or grab in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and they'll heal you when you knock down. And that's what I want this podcast to be. I want it to be a place you can go to kick back, relax, and start feeling like a little mentally healed. That's the goal for this. I want it to be a place where Nintendo fans can come and relax and listen to discussions about their favorite games. So yeah, that's what a fairy fountain does in the games, and that's what I plan to have it do for you as the listeners. Yeah, great fairies are something. They're a little bit scandalous, but they're awesome. They're very cool. And I love the atmosphere of fairy fountains, the pinks, purples, and all of that, and just the really relaxing music. That whole atmosphere and vibe surrounding fairy fountains is what gave this podcast its name. So I hope you guys do decide to subscribe to the channel and check out the podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and stay tuned for our weekly shows. I'm sure every discussion will be interesting. So I'll see you guys in the first official episode. Thanks for sticking around for the introduction.